Hey everyone, ViolinguyGolf again. Been a little while since I made one of these. I gotta apologize for the lack of videos lately. As many of you may know, I am a professional musician. 3 guesses what instrument I play? ViolinguyGolf. Anyways, yeah, so I am a professional violinist. I am a freelance violinist, which means I'm not full-time with any one orchestra or group, so I do travel a lot, and I've been traveling a lot for for work this since New Year's, really, more than I thought. So today what we're going to do is we're doing a little refresher. We're going to do a little refresher on just the tools and the how everything kind of works. I'll try to keep it short, but anyways, so these are the courses that I currently have that are unpublished. I was going to do just a design video for my 9-hole course, but I think what we're going to do is go ahead and just kind of go through, and I'm going to do a little designing. Let's say we'll do this one. And this is a golf course I started a while back. I don't like it, so I never finished it. It's actually not even close to being finished, honestly. So while that's loading, again, this is going to be kind of a refresher, just how the tools work. I got a comment on one of my videos on YouTube just about the, maybe ran through the tools a little too quickly for people who were following along and trying to learn stuff. So, I'll try to go a little slow today. Just again, an overview of some of the tools that I use the most. All right, so this is a golf course that started off great. I love this second hole. I really like it. The first hole's fine. Number 3 is fine. Nothing to write home about. Number 4 is a good hole. You got to carry that water. You can bite off a little bit more of it if you like. And then uphill to the hole, and then things start to go to pot here. I don't like this 5th hole at all. I just don't. It just doesn't. It's boring, and I just couldn't. I didn't have any imagination whatsoever when I made it. Then we have 6. 6 is okay. 6 is a lot like the second hole. You have a big, fat, wide open fairway here that goes till about 275. And then it gets super mega narrow here, and then uphill to the green. I did some nice work on these bunkers. I chose this theme late. This is the Swiss theme, if I am not mistaken. So, all right. Now, I just referenced, oh, well, it's this far to the thing and blah, blah, blah. How do I know that? Well, look up to the top. It says yards to tee. Okay, to, blue, white, green, red. All right, so right here I'm at 274, meaning that's about as far as I want to hit it, without taking on that tiny little opening. And if I hit it 274, boom, I'm 118 to the green. So there's really no reason to smack a driver up in here. So I mean that's how we did that. And so that's a very important thing, using this cursor to see how far away from certain things you are. Okay. There's you can use the you could use the measuring tool as well. Okay, the measuring tool or the measuring tape, whatever you want to call it, that is in Sculpt. Okay, and it's down here, measure. All right, so from this very spot to this pin back here, which I believe is pin number 4. Maybe pin number 4 is up in the front. I don't know. That's 124 yards. Almost 125. Up 18 feet. So that's a pretty good, that's almost a full club, up in the air there. So, so the measuring tool that can be found in Sculpt. Okay, Sculpt Flatten and Sculpt Raise you will never use. The only time you will use these two, this is the red brush now. The only time you'll ever use those is really if there will be a time when you are laying down some fairway, and no matter how many times you do it, it just won't. There's like no fairway appears when you try to put it down. That happens from time to time, especially if you've done a lot of work on the terrain around it, or the terrain around it in and of itself is pretty wonky. You got, a lot of mounds and hills and stuff like that. It's kind of like the old days in Tiger Woods where you just had too many points to an object so it wouldn't look right. So that is when you're going to pull out. Okay, let's say that happens. Let's say that happened right here. Now, it hasn't happened, but we'll say it did. So what I would quickly do is go to Sculpt, go down to Sculpt Flatten, fuzziest brush I can find, and kablamo. Okay, now let's see if that does. I hope that doesn't look bad. Nah, it's okay. I'm gonna I undo. Undo is the X button on Xbox. Undo on Xbox is the X button. I believe that's the square button on PS4. Okay, so that's going to be your undo. I don't even know what it is on PC. It could still be Control Z for all I know. But that's something that's handy. Okay, so X button for undo. Oops, I just hit it again by accident. Hopefully, the undo can be a little crazy on here. You'll notice, I've noticed certainly, that when you come out of a play test, sometimes the first thing that you do can't be undone for some reason. And I think it only goes back 3 steps. So, that's something to look at. We're going to make a teeing ground here. Okay, see how these are all just lined up here? That looks, like poo. So we're going to fix this. So we're going to go here. All right, let's say you're in this main thing, okay, the main editor menu with playtest at the top. All right, there's a couple things you could do. You can go to edit holes, or you could just hit the B button on Xbox to go back, and boom, here you are. Okay, you can sculpt, you can create surfaces, etc., etc. See how my T markers there are lit up yellow? That means they are selected, so I'm going to hit move T, and we're going to move this T way up here, because it is the ladies' tee. Oops, I'm not allowed to say ladies' tee. Excuse me, the forward tee. Right, we're going to move that right up here. And it's not super important that you put this on high ground, low ground, whatever it is. By the way, I forgot to do this before I moved that tee. Let me back out of here a little. Okay, so with the right stick, what you want to do is, because you want to know how long the hole is for when you move your stuff around, right? So with the right stick, press down. See? That's how long my golf course is, or at least the front 9 that I've laid out. It's pretty long, actually. So then hit it again, and boom, you've got the hole. So these red tees now that I moved up, the red tees are the default for the thing, but you will always, the tee that's closest to the hole is always going to just be red. Okay, so it will always be the red tees. I mean, unless you change the tee color. I mean, but we're assuming it's going to be red tees. Okay, so they're 415. Now let's go back here, leaving that open over there. All right, we're going to move this guy again. So you're here, go to move T. Okay, and we're going to find somewhere, I think we're going to go right up here. We'll use the same shape for them tee boxes. All right, we'll put the green tees right up there. Okay, then you got to click back. Okay, you got to click B to get back out of that, okay? And then we'll go over here to the white. Again, move T. And we're going to move these to right here. Now, why did I move them in that direction, to the right of where I was going? The reason is this. Okay, here's your back tee, your championship tee. Okay, look at the overhead of the hole, okay? I'm zooming out using left bumper, by the way. Zoom in, zoom out. Okay, using not the bumper, excuse me, the trigger. you know, you use the triggers to zoom out. Okay, this hole has a slight dog leg left. But from our rear tee right here, okay, actually that's the strongest dog leg is from back there. And then as the tees get shorter and easier, I tend to spread them out in this direction so there's not as much dog leg. All right, or like over here. Okay, this is almost straight to the hole, really. All you got to do is hit a little draw. All right, so anyway, so that's moving the tees. Like I said, triggers for, you know, for zooming and not zooming. Okay. Some of these trees are in my way. Okay. I've gone ahead and left this golf course with the trees on it. I sometimes like to design with the trees still there. Excuse me, I needed some coffee. All right, so, you know, these are all the pre-planted, these are the trees that are there. Okay, you can't delete these or move them. You can't move them. You can delete them, though. Okay, and those controls are also in Sculpt Land, like the measuring. Okay, but you have clear generated trees, clear generated objects. I don't know why they have two things for it, but I'm going to go. I always use generated objects because I want everything. Pick a shape. All right, kind of like you'd be picking a shape for a fairway or something. The circle's fine with me. I want these trees out of my way. So go ahead, make sure they're all inside the circle, and kablamo, they be gone. Ta-da! All right, same thing over here. Let's get rid of those. Okay, when designing trees, when you're working on your golf course, trees can be a real pain in the butt. Okay, they cast shadows that make it difficult to do some work. All right. Plus, they're in the way. You can't see things. You're trying to, you know, figure this tee box out, and you got a tree right there. Pain in the ass. So back out of that. Always be hitting the B button on Xbox, circle button on PlayStation to back out of here. All right. So there's your clear. You know, you could use trees, but it's only going to clear trees. It will not clear plants, and it will not clear grass. All right. So I want everything gone when I want to delete that stuff. Now, generally, I don't design with the trees here. I'll usually, if it's going to be a very heavily wooded golf course, like this one would be if I decide to finish it, if it's going to be a very heavily wooded golf course, then I'll design the golf course without the trees, and then I'll go, you want to put your trees back, go here. From the main menu, the one that has playtest at the top, terrain settings. Okay, hills, blah, 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 trees. And you can then make them go away. Gone. This is the golf course. I mean, it's so weird how different it looks with or without trees. Okay, honestly, this doesn't look too bad at all. I mean, I could make some kind of weird links course out of this. But I want my trees back, so we could just have a couple. All right, here's some. Okay, that's not so bad. But I want a lot. I want all of them. So, kablamo. Here's all my trees. Okay, now do I have to delete any? Okay, again, hitting the B button to back out. That looks okay. I might get rid of a couple of these. I'm in pretty good shape. I'm going to go to Sculpt. Objects again. Clear objects. Get rid of those. All right. One other thing. Sometimes you'll hit a button and nothing happens. Okay, you got to listen for that little bing, okay, for when you are, and that'll tell you actually did do something. All right, so listen for that. All right, so that's how to clear generated objects, how to clear all of them, and how to clear just the ones that are in your way. Let's do a little sculpting now, boys and girls. There are umpteen sculpting tools, okay? So many you might lose track. Okay, there are some that I've never used. All right, I'm talking about the brushes. Okay, so this tee is actually at a pretty good height. Okay, I've already kind of bumped this area up because I want this. The back tee should be the highest. You shouldn't be hitting over, you know, the forward tee shouldn't be higher. Okay, now I'm going to have to make those a little bit higher, but not higher than this tee back here. The easiest thing to do in the world if you want a nice tee box like this Sculpt Land. Landscape flatten. Choose the shape that corresponds to the shape of your tee box. Select it. Okay, now I'm using the D-pad to rotate it that way, this way. D-pad up makes it bigger. D-pad down makes it smaller. Make it plenty bigger than the shape that you have because you want the entire teeing area to be flat. Choose it and boom, flat tee. Okay? Now I hit, I backed out of here so I can see what it looks like. Okay? Always check your line of sight. Line of sight is such an important thing in golf course design. Okay? If you cannot see the fairway from the tee, and you got to get way down like I am here. You can't be like, oh yeah, I can see the teeing ground. I can see the fairway just fine from here. It doesn't work like that. You got to get down here. Or worst case scenario, hit back a couple more times. Hit play test. Tee set. Blue. Pin doesn't matter because there's only one pin on this hole. Play hole. And then you will get an idea of actually what the golfer sees. You cannot play test a golf course too much. It's just that you cannot over play test a golf course. Okay, I've gone back. I like to, once I finish a golf course, I like to just put it away. And I don't want to look at it for a while. And then maybe a month or two down the line, after if I've finished maybe another one or am working on some other stuff, then I go back and play it. And I'm shocked every time that I was like, how did I miss that? Oh my God, there's yellow right next to the hole. How did I miss that tree being in the way? How did I miss that tee box not being flat? It's amazing. So, okay, so here's your view. Okay, now I'm not going to hit a ball because there's no fairway up here, But wow, this hole is really something. Nice looking terrain. I like to, I'll talk about that another time, but I do like to start with some hills. Okay, so now you're done with that. Okay, you're going to hit, you're going to hit that start button. Okay, and go in here. You can resume, you can rewind. That's like mulligan. Assign controller. That's if you want to go ahead and this is not the controller you were using. You want to use a different controller. And boom, edit course. That takes you back to editing your course. I'm already running super long on this video, but this might be a two-parter. So, all right. So now I'm back in my. By the way, when you're in this view, the playtest menu, the main, I'll call it the main menu. All right, you can twirl around here like this, but the cursor is nowhere to be found. You cannot use left stick to go anywhere around your golf course. Okay, so you need to hit back, the B button, the circle button, and then now you can navigate all around your golf course. All right, here's my 8th hole where it was. Okay, a couple other things. All right, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to flatten these tee boxes as well. I'm not doing anything with the shape of these tee boxes or any of that. That's for a different video. But Sculpt Land, Landscape Flatten. Let's do this one. Now you see how this brush is a little fuzzy on the edges there, okay? Way more fuzzy than, say, this brush. That is the straightest edge you can get. Like OMG, that is, okay? And it's going to look like duty if you use this. Let's see what it does. Boom. Now I have a flat tee box, but this just looks like crap all around it. All right. I use this brush actually quite often, and the circle version of this. I use that to make the walls that I'm going to put retaining walls on. And I use it for when I really need like a straight up and down, like a cliff or something like that. Because even this one, look, it's not straight up and down. There's still a little blend there, but not too much. So let's get out of here. Let's go ahead and, oops, I can't undo that. Son of a, okay. So like I said, sometimes when you come out of the playtest menu, you cannot undo. So here's what I'm going to do. Okay, I'm stuck with this as it is. I'm going to go back, landscape flatten. First page, we call this the fuzzy brush. I'm going to go ahead and this usually, what this does is the center of this brush usually is flat. Okay, but then as you go out, it's more of a gradient, so it doesn't give you any of the straight up and, the straight edges and whatnot. This is almost more of a smoothing brush than it is anything else. Okay, like I see here, I'm using it to kind of, bring down that section there, and now see how it's just a lot more smooth. There's not like a right angle. Okay, which of course right angles do not occur in nature usually unless they're rocks. Okay, I'm going to go ahead while I'm at it. I'm going to smooth out my whole fairway area. Okay, and I'm going to tell you why here in just a second. My whole fairway area, if you go ahead and do this first, this is something I found out about very late in the game as I was learning this designer. But if you do this part first, you do a little bit of terrain work on your fairway. Then when you lay down your fairway, whether you use shapes or the or the splines, it will not auto flatten like, you know what I'm saying? Like when you put down fairway and then all of a sudden the land is like, to make it a little more flat. It will not do that if you've already done this base work on your thing. And I go all the way up to the green. Okay, now I hit back twice. Let's get out of here. All right, and okay, so I'm back. Let's say I hit the ball and I hit it nice and far. Let's say I hit it 305, 310. Okay, because this is pretty severely downhill and you're going to get some rollout. Okay, can I see the green from here? Sure can. That's important. And if you cannot, then you got to go down here and lower some of this. All right, line of sight. Remember that. All right, so I've smoothed all this stuff. Now, when I make these tee boxes, I'm going to raise this one first. Just going to do a little of that. Okay. And then, oops, got to go back. I got to go to flatten. See, now I found the nice square here. I'll flatten this guy. Okay, it's going a little slow for a number of reasons, probably because I'm recording. And okay, you can still see the fairway from the back tees there. Very good. Now, again, you want to match what you're using to flatten to the shape you have for your tees. I'm going to give this just a little bit of using the bumpers now. You can go up, down, what have you. I'm going to use my right bumper to just like not quite a foot, give the folks playing from the forward two tees a little bit better of a view. And that's your, that's basic tee box flattening. Okay, fairway area flattening. Okay, this is so much more smooth now. Okay, you can go back later and add your own stuff to it. We've talked about moving tees. All right, and you can still move these later if you want to. Okay, I mean, let's say, down the line, you're like, oh, this course is just too short. I want to make this a par 5 instead. It's a 500-yard par 4. I want to make it a par 5 instead. So what am I going to do? The only way to do that without, maybe you've already worked on this green, you don't want to work on a green anymore, so now you're going to move your tee boxes back. All right, so, I mean, that's something you can do. All right, so, that being said, I'm going to do video number 2 because I don't like these being super mega long. All right, so in video number 2, I'm going to cover a couple of other basic tools and how to navigate the designer, and we'll see you next time. So I'm out of here. You guys have a great day. Violin Guy out.